Welcome to part 2 of Empires of the Undergrowth. Or should I say hell? Because this game's broken me. You see, after releasing the first video of the game, I unfortunately had to reset my computer, and because of that, I lost my original footage I had for this video. Meaning, if I were to continue where I left off now, I wouldn't be able to show you all the experiments the scientists conduct. So to combat this, I decided to reset my playthrough and play through the levels I already completed. Again. Yes, that means 1.2 subjugation. Kill me. The game plan for the first two levels is pretty much the exact same as last time, but as I played 1.2 subjugation, I fully realized how agonizing this level truly is. I did not emphasize how brutal this level was in my first video, because this level alone took me 3 hours to beat. Just to give you the rundown again, you play as the Formica Fusca, aka the Black Ants, and your goal is to survive being killed by a rival Formica Sanguinea, aka the Slave Maker Ants. Please don't age restrict me, YouTube. For this level, all you need to do is make 50 soldier and 43 worker ants while also surviving periodic raids from the Sanguinea. Sounds easy, right? No! 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 No. Absolutely not. This is one of the most tricky, time-optimizing, painful experiences in this entire game. And this is only level 1.2 out of 5.3. Did I mention I'm also playing on the impossible difficulty? Because this level is unusually easier than 1.1 A New Home on any other difficulty. But for some godforsaken reason, they buffed the absolute out of these stupid little ants. I briefly touched on the stats of the ants in the previous episode, but we'll go slightly more in depth for this episode. For our ants, we'll talk about the soldier ants because we'll be using them for most of the combat, obviously. This game allows the player to place down one soldier ant brood tile for 50 food. This game also allows the player to upgrade this tile for 50 food again, therefore upgrading the ant's damage, attacking speed, health, and healing speed. These are the stats of every black ant soldier at each level. At level 1, a soldier has 50 health, 0.1 healing speed, and 3.6 damage. Level 2 has 60 health, 0.2 healing speed, and 4.4 damage. Finally, level 3 has 70 health, 0.3 healing speed, and 4.4 damage. Which aren't bad by any means, but if we compare them to our enemies, the Sanguinea, yeah, this is hell. At level 1, the Sanguinea have similar stats to the Fusca, but at level 2, there's some slight adjustments. This is why the difficulty takes a huge detour. Throughout the entire level, you're fighting funnel web spiders and devil's coach horse beetles, which can easily be overwhelmed if you throw 5 level 1 ants at them. But just to give you a reference of how absurdly broken this level is, the main threat in 1.1, A New Home, is, of course, the devil's coach horse beetle. The larval form of these guys has 70 health and 5 attack damage with no health recovery. But if we take a look at the Sanguinea soldier's level 3 stats, this dude is way stronger than the larval form of the devil's coach horse beetle. If we were to do the same with our level 3 black ant, well, we win, but with significantly less health than the Sanguinea. So our only hope to even win against them is to either overwhelm them with our level 1 ants or to get a decent amount of high level ants to fight them off. Both have advantages and disadvantages, like how you can overwhelm the opposing ants with a bunch of level 1s, but they're really frail. Or a decent amount at high levels can stall the higher level Sanguinea so you have more time to bring ants to the location, but this setup can be difficult to get to. Ultimately, I settled for a decent amount of ants with a high level because in order for new ants to spawn, they first need an egg to be brought from the queen to the tile, then wait a good 10 seconds for them to hatch, and only then can a new ant be born. If we have huge amounts of level 1s, all those conditions I mentioned before will have to be met multiple times, which also requires at least one worker ant to function. I found the higher tier ants more reliable against the Sanguinea, so it's what I used in 1.2 subjugation. But even after we have all those stats explained, this level is far from easy. We haven't even explained the game plan for the level itself. Again, I briefly explained the strategy in the last episode, but I'll go over it again broadly. First, put your nursery ants into group 1. Bring group 1 to collect a bit of food at the start. This is important because those extra workers you get from doing this accelerates the rate of the growth exponentially. After a few have hatched, tunnel out the woodworms to the northeast of your queen. Build food storages there, dig south to build a place for the soldiers to hatch, gather the rest of the food, dig out the spider to your left, switch off food collection on your soldiers, kill the first spider, kill the next one above it, place down 2 to 3 worker tiles on the spider's nest, take out the next spider above that last one, finally dig out the woodworm to your left of that spider and kill the devil's coach horse beetles to get the food. If you've done this correctly, the first Sanguinia thief should appear around the time you dig out the third spider. In this case, it's a winning run, so continue. After doing the setup, get 19 soldier ants and be sure to upgrade them to level 3 while also making more workers. Dig out whichever spiders you want, but this is the order I did. Be sure to disable your workers ants defense box and the soldier ants food box. After this, be sure to optimize your time so the raids don't do this to you. Also, these raids happen every minute 40 seconds, and the timer begins immediately after the raid before it ends. This took forever to beat, and was painful to lose because of how precise you had to be every single time. For me on the impossible difficulty, this took 3 hours with an insane amount of attempts, but I eventually beat it, and now we can continue on to the new parts of the video. Thank Christ. Get me out of this level. I never want to play this stupid freaking. What is this? This level is a cakewalk compared to the horrors of 1.2 Subjugation. You play as the newly introduced Formica rufa wood ant, which is way better than the black ants. Their main unit is a ranged attacker that shoots formic acid like this. This is the first time the game has introduced us to a species that has 2 variants, rapid fire and mortar wood ants, which both introduce a new type of damage, venom damage. Mortar ants on level 1 deal 8 damage, have a range of 500, and have a very slow attack speed. I don't like these ones. Their entire appeal is their extremely high damage and splash damage once they get to level 3, but that's only if they can even hit their target. These ants are only effective after you get wood ant soldiers, which hold whatever enemy they're attacking in place, but this takes time you do not have in this level. Meanwhile, the rapid fire ants at level 1 do 2 damage, but have extremely high attacking speeds at 2.3. Yeah, we're choosing this one. This level introduces the player to the beach, which has a lot of food scattered across, but honestly, there isn't much to say about this level. It's a great introduction of the new wood ants, it's a lot easier than certain levels, and the enemies are fun to fight. The main goal of this level is to survive 3 nights. You gather food in the day, bunker down at night, and fend off 3 waves of enemies the game throws at you at each night. The first night throws hermit crabs at you, which are tanky and relatively strong creatures with an ability to tuck into their shells to regain health, where they also get a massive physical resistance buff. There are 4 variants of the hermit crab: small, medium, large, and meta. As the size increases, the stats also increase. But for night 1, they send 2 small crabs for the first wave, which are extremely easy to beat, and they also provide a good amount of food after killing them. Wave 2 sends 3 crabs, and Wave 3 sends 2 medium crabs and 5 small crabs. The strategy I used for this was to make 19 worker ants as soon as I could in this level, and to turn off their defense so they could gather food. After I made those ants, I began to make shooter ants. After I've made 5, I gather all the ants into the ground and dig out the devil's coach horse beetles to the west of the queen to gather more food. After they're dead, dig out a patch of beetles further west of the queen and do the same. Do this again with the patch north, and if you've done it all correctly, night should begin after you kill the northern patch. The rest of the level is easy after you beat night 1. A sardine washes up on the 3rd layer of the beach, and now is when you should make 19 more workers to increase the rate you collect food. Once you begin gathering food from the sardine, upgrade your shooters. You should harvest the sardine until it has 500 food left. This is when you should leave because the other wood ant colony goes to the sardine to collect the rest of it. Once this happens, gather up all your ants to the 2nd layer of the beach and collect food from the north side of the beach. After you've collected as much as you can, go back underground to dig out a patch of Formica fusca ants and collect their food. Night 2 introduces a new enemy, wolf spiders. These enemies attack your nurseries, so defend near the queen rather than the entrance to the nest. If you're quick enough, they should be easy to deal with because they're relatively frail, but they do a bit of damage. Like the hermit crab, the wolf spider has 4 variants: small, medium, large, and huge. This night will send small and medium wolf spiders at the player. After the night is over, go to the 4th layer of the beach and collect all the food. Do this for every layer and continue to build up your army while building more shooters and soldiers. If you have around 38 level 3 shooters and 19 level 1 soldiers, you should win the level easily.
As the ants grow in number, the local predators pose less and less of a danger. Eventually they will be displaced from this area entirely. Despite the dangers of the beach, it seems this intrepid queen's gamble to establish her colony here has ultimately secured her success.
This level is a huge step up from 2.1 Rising Tide, but not as bad as 1.2 Subjugation. Queen of the Hill introduces a new mechanic. In all other levels that involved other ant colonies, they've always come from nowhere. But in this level, you can actually see and visit their nests. However, this isn't recommended. For the story of this level, I'll let the narrator take this one.
A number of small Formica, Rufa, and Fusca colonies have established themselves on this beach. Those nearest to the water's edge have enjoyed the first pick of the washed-up seafood for the past few days. However, as the sun and moon near alignment and the first spring tide of the month approaches, high tide draws nearer to these intrepid ants. Seemingly aware of their circumstances, these colonies are preparing to relocate to higher ground. There is only one way up the bank, and the route is currently occupied by a small Rufa colony. These defenders will have to hold their ground against the oncoming siege. It will be 3 days before the high tide washes away the competition. If the colony survives, it will inherit the beach. But this won't be an easy fight.
So, because of this new mechanic, we'll be facing periodic raids from both colonies while we collect food. But now we gain food in a different way than all the other levels. Our main source of food for this level is aphids. They give us food periodically and are located close to our nest. Sounds great! What's the catch? Oh god. These dirty little insects are the bane of my existence. They'll go from the western aphids to the eastern aphids. Every so often they'll eat them. Once this happens, that aphid will have to grow into a new one to produce food again, which takes a while. So if ladybugs eat all your aphids, yeah, just restart. The best advice I can give for this level is to get 19 workers immediately and use them to gather as much food as possible. Then get 19 more to put 19 on each aphid nest. Once you get enough food, build 2 groups of 7 shooters and station them at each aphid nest where they won't collect food. It should be night 1 by now, and this is when the game throws a crap ton of beetles at you. Be sure to keep protecting the aphids while also building new soldiers. If you survive night 1 while keeping a lot of aphids alive, you should have a winning run. Just make sure to make more shooters while upgrading them and soldiers. On day 2, the enemy colonies will begin sending huge waves of enemies. Just be sure to have lots of ants ready to defend. This level is definitely more difficult than 2.1 Rising Tide, but is still manageable. Unlike Subjugation. Also, a cool thing to note with this level is that you can tell exactly when the enemy colonies are going to attack. This game has a neat feature that plays music depending on what's going on in the world. If none of your ants are in combat, then the safe theme of the level will play. If one or more of your ants are in combat, the action music will play. For this level, the action music will play throughout the day even if none of your ants are in combat. But after this specific part of the music,
More soldiers are emerging from the roofer nest.
the enemy ants will attack you. Oh, and on a final wave, the queens of each of the colonies will attack. So it's confirmed that the Rufa and Fusca queen can move. That could have been useful in another level. This level is overall reliant on knowing when the enemy colonies are going to attack, how to manage your nurseries, knowing when to value quantity over quality, and patience. But after all that and 3 attempts on this level, I beat it on the impossible difficulty.
The wood ants upon the hill have finally defeated their would-be successors. Tomorrow their empire will expand to the undefended intertidal flats below, commanding both the aphid farms and the bounty of the sea. This colony will rise to become an undeniable power in the Undergrowth.
This experiment was cake. It was on par with the first experiments in terms of difficulty, and with the help of the wood ants, it was even easier. I put corrosive and weakening on the wood ant. Corrosive deals an additional 6 venom damage over 0.5 seconds, which greatly increases their damage. Weakening synergizes really well with the corrosive ability, because weakening makes venomous attacks deal 40% more damage for 1.5 seconds. With these upgrades, this experiment is easy. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. Next time we will begin on 3.1 and 3.2. I hope neither of them rely heavily on time optimization and drive exponential growth as the only means of succeeding. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see me rage in the upcoming challenges, then leave a like and subscribe. You know, the typical YouTuber rant. Anyways, stay safe. The ants are looking to steal your freaking larvae.